All right, in this video, I'm going to talk about Express Router. So right now you have seen, and we actually only have two different routes. We have a post route over here, and we have a get route. But consider an application where you have a lot of routes, and I'm talking about you're dealing with users, you're dealing with trips, you are dealing with customers, you're dealing with reports, you're dealing with admin, and so many different things. And if you start putting all of these things into app.js, it's still going to work, but it's going to just get messier and messier and messier because you have one file and you're putting all your different routes, whether they're related to users or whether they're related to trips, into just one file. So maybe it's a good idea to put routes of different domain or different use cases in a separate file. So let's go ahead and see that how we can move our trips route into a separate file. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add a new file, and I'm going to call this trips.js. You can obviously put this file in some sort of a folder called routes. I'm just going to put it right now in the root folder. And now I can go ahead and begin by creating my Express router. So require Express and then router equals to Express, not mustache, Express dot router. And now you can use your router and you can define your routes, which we already have done in app.js. So what I can do is I can simply go ahead and get this one, and I'm going to cut it and paste it right over here. Okay. Now let's go back over here and I'm going to paste this route over here, which is a post route, and I'm going to paste it right over here. So basically this route is saying, oops, this route is saying that if I post to a trip, then it's going to create a new trip. Okay. And this route is saying if I go to the root, then it's going to use this route. The other thing is that this is in a trips.js file, so we need to export this particular file or from this file so that we can import those routes. So router, just going to export the router, which is basically this guy over here, the instance. Now I can go back to my app.js, and the first thing I need obviously is I need to import. So it's going to call this trips, which is actually already there. So I'm going to say trips route or trip routes or trips router. Trips route is okay, I guess. And let's go ahead and import the file, which in this case is trips. All right. Now in my app.js, I'm going to simply say app.use, which is a middleware. And whenever the request comes to trips, go ahead and use the router, which is trip routes. So everything has to be coming to trips. So it has to be localhost 3000/trips, and then trip routes is going to handle it. All right. Now the question is, if /trips is a route that people have to go, then what kind of endpoints you're going to put it over here? So this is the root. So this means that this will map to most probably localhost 3000/trips. That should be fine. But what about the post one? It will look kind of like this: localhost 3000 trips, that's just coming from app.js /trip. That's also fine, I guess. I mean, that's perfectly fine if it has this particular route, I guess, right? Now the question is, do we have to change index.js to say something like that? Should we over here say trips/trip? All right. Maybe we'll just say trips. If we just say trips, then we have to go back over here and we have to say, well, you're posting it to the root, and well, it has to be localhost. This trips. So let's see how it actually works. So I'm going to go ahead and first of all start the server. So nodemon app.js. And we have some stuff going on over here. App is not defined. App is not defined. I think it's coming from over here because there is no such thing as app. It is router. So let's replace the router over here. That's fine. And I think it started now. Let's see, where is our Chrome browser? Let me actually open up a new window. All right, so localhost 3000, it's not available, but if I go to trips, it's saying trips is not defined. All right, so why is it saying trips is not defined? Because inside my trips, I'm using something called trips over here. So that is not defined. The trips is defined over here. So what if I go ahead and put it as var? Does that help it solve the problem? Not really. So what if I copy this and I put it over here? And still I make it let. All right. And now obviously it works fine. I'm going to go ahead and say Costa Rica, save. And now again, I'm having some issues. It's saying that I'm not able to go to this root URL. So let's see what's going on. We are going over here to /root. We don't want to go over there. We want to go to trips, which will actually send us over here, this one. Let's go ahead and replace, go back. And let's say Denver. And you can see now we are working fine. Costa Rica. All right. So when you use these express routers, they are mainly used so that you can put your routing code into different files. And it's a good practice because now your app.js file is much cleaner. It doesn't have all the code for different routes. Each code or all the part of the code that is related to trips is in trip routes, and then other stuff that is related to users might be in user routes, and so on. All right. So that is the Express router in Node Express.